Good morning everybody, thanks for joining me again. As you can see, I'm back on Dartmoor. Today I've come up to this tour to find the 10 Commandments, which are engraved into these two large rocks. It's just after sunrise, the sun's coming up quite quickly, but that's what I want some contrast on the engravings on these stones. So let's see what I can make of those. Well, I've got what I think is a good composition. Got the two rocks leading out into the photograph, pointing you towards the horizon. But look at this big shadow down here. The shadow from that rock is just spoiling the foreground, so I might have to try something a little different. I need to move quickly because I'm losing the shadow on the letters themselves. So let's take a shot of this and then move round slightly. Well, I was really rushing too much, trying to do video and not really concentrating on taking a good image. This was the best I came up with. I've not got my shadow on the rocks, and I managed to mask out the shadow at the bottom of the image. But I really need to spend a lot more time just refining the composition. I changed the image into a black and white, which I felt just more suited the mood of the moment. And as you can see, I was at 16mm, f11, 1/100th of a second and an ISO 50. I've placed quite a heavy vignette on this just to draw your eye onto the stones. Actually, what I think I might do is take the camera off the tripod and try some handheld shots where I can get in some different angles quite quickly. Let's try that. I took lots of images, but this was the one I was most happy with, and I thought just portrayed the scene best. And you can clearly see the writing leading across the stone towards the horizon. Again, same settings, f11 at 16mm, 1/100th of a second at ISO 50. Well, I think I'm going to move on now. I don't think now the sun has come up so high I'm going to get any better photographs of the stones. You can see my shadows right across them. So I'm going to get the map out and have a look what other features around this tour there are to photograph. Let's go and have a bit of an explore, shall we? And come back another day, maybe when the light's a bit better, maybe at sunset. Hopefully it's not too windy and you can hear me. Just walking around, as you can see by my shadow, with the camera handheld, trying to get some shots, different angles on these rocks, with the tour that I've just come from behind. Well, I enjoyed moving around this small collection of rocks, trying to get the other tour in the best position in the background. And this is the best one I came up with. Not the greatest of shots, but quite balanced. The horizon on the top third, the rocks on the left, the tour on the right, and mostly in focus. So then I headed out onto the moor to see what else I could find. And this scene just seemed to stand out. There was a collection of trees in the distance, and with this really light patch of grasses cutting in from the left hand side, I thought was really nice. So I just had to try and make a balanced image. Tried to balance the trees with the tour in the distance. So, walking across the moor, I found this small ruin, but couldn't really find a good angle with all the harsh light, so made it back up towards the tour where I came across this gate. So with this, an obvious image, again the horizon on the top third, the tour in the distance, and I've just tried to make a nice leading line through the gate up to the tour, just leaving enough space either side of the gate just to keep it balanced. And then just a slightly different angle looking along the wall, using that as a leading line. Again, small group of trees in the distance, leaving just enough space on the left hand side of the image where the gate posts are. Again, the horizon on the top third, and some nice clouds. Well, I'm walking back to the car along this wall, and this group of trees has caught my eye, so I'm going to try and take a photograph of that. There's some nice interesting stones here, and the barbed wire. So let's give that a go. I took a few images of this, some with a little bit more separation between the trees and the walls, but I really like this. A nice 4x5 image. I like the barbed wire, some really nice rusty colours there. I didn't mind that the trees were blurred out in the background. I've got it at 55mm f/16, and this was at 1/40th of a second. Just about okay handheld. Well, I'm trying to get some photographs along this wall with the moorland behind, but as you can see the sun is very bright, a lot of shadow, so I'm having to slow the shutter speed down to about 50th of a second and still trying to hand hold it, so hopefully they'll be sharp. Well, in the end I got this at 100th of a second, so it's quite easy. 16mm f/16 ISO 50. I like the leading line of the wall and the barbed wire going diagonally across the shop. Unfortunately for me, there were some people walking past with some brightly coloured jackets on, so all I had to do was wait until they were in the right place in the shot to get this. I thought I can improve on the image though. I've cropped it to a square, as you can see, and taken out some of the bottom of the image. Quite a lot of dead space there. I've made it a black and white apart from the jackets on the people. Given a bit more space at the top just to give the clouds a bit of space. And one of my favourite images, this. Well, you could make quite a nice short circular walk from the car park up to the tor and round by a small ruined farmhouse. I got the idea from a book called Dartmoor 365. If you look it up, they've divided the moor into 365 squares, and in each one there's a point of interest. Nice book, illustrated by some drawings. Well worth a look. So as I made my way back to the car, I took my last two images. This first one I was really lucky. I was looking at the wall, as I said, trying to get a good image of it leading into the distance. But what really makes this image is the relationship between the wall, the horizon line of the hill, and that cloud on the right hand side, which really sort of mirrors the wall. And lastly, I've walked past loads of these small standing stones or marker stones, so couldn't resist at least taking one image of this. Made it a black and white, 16mm, standing really close to the stone, pointing the camera down, and then just trying to get the composition balanced. Well, I think I'm going to call it a day now. Just making my way back to the car, taking a few photos of this wall as I go. Very sunny now, lots of people out walking. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll see you again next week. But for now, cheerio.